are certain causes that we need to consider. The first one is the impact of previous education or schooling. In many cases, reading has not been developed in the modern schools and colleges. And so students, before they come and enroll in the in research degrees, they need to have sufficient exposure to an environment of reading, which is increasingly becoming difficult in today's digital world. The span of attention, and in many cases, um, the schooling system is something where the reading habit is not developed, it is not given proper importance, the particular infrastructure is not available, the libraries are not facilitated, and reading habit is not rewarded in terms of academic rewards. And so that kind of thing um, actually turns into a kind of habit of non-reading right from the very beginning. Then inadequacy of literacy skills. Again, for reading, one needs to have adequate literacy skills, which actually means that they need to have sufficient vocabulary, they need to have understanding of the grammar and structure, they need to have sufficient background knowledge. And so inadequate literacy skills that have been developed at the previous educational levels stands in the way of actually developing the reading habit among research students. Inadequate course or curriculum, that is the content and structure of the research syllabi, is something that also stands in the way of developing the reading habits or reading interests of the research students. In many cases, the content or curriculum of the research degrees is developed in such a way where there is generally no reward for reading and no incentives for developing the reading habits of the students. And so that is something uh, that the professors will generally encourage students to read, but because there is no there are no incentives in terms of reward for reading, so that is something that impacts the students' motivation to read. Then inadequate evaluation system. Again, in the evaluation system, generally reading, especially critical reading, is not generally evaluated, and as a result, students lack the motivation to read. Inadequate facilities such as access to relevant reading facilities, libraries, digital libraries, is another cause of the non-reading research students. And then lack of motivation, both intrinsic motivation, where reading is considered as a reward on its own, and extrinsic motivation in terms of, for example, better grades and such types of motivation. So lack of these types of motivation also results in the phenomena of non-reading research students. Then the teachers or professors or supervisors role is also important. In many cases, the teachers, professors or supervisors fail to develop or develop the interest of the research student for reading, or to persuade them to read. In many cases, the researcher, the supervisors or professors can do modeling of reading, can present themselves as reading models. But unfortunately, that is something that also does not happen frequently in the current academia, mainly because of the multiple engagements of the supervisors or the professors in non-academic activities, in managerial activities, rather than in academic activities involving reading.